Here we are. Welcome to another episode of the Battleground podcast. I'm your host, Battle, and this is a podcast where we talk all things professional wrestling. But real quick, before we get into some stuff, please make sure you're following us on social media. We're on Instagram, it's Battleground Podcast. We're on Twitter, Battleground IHR. So see this little scrolly thing right here? Yeah, that's where we're at. Go follow us. Also, thanks to our sponsors, Manscaped and Liquid Death. We'll throw some stuff out there. See this right here? All you got to do is use the code Battleground at checkout, 20% off your order, free shipping. All you have to do is visit manscaped.com and, of course, Liquid Death, which, by the way, even though it's canned water, it doesn't have that aluminum taste like, other cans do. So definitely pick you up some Liquid Death, liquiddeath.com, and it's available at all Whole Foods. But tonight, we do have a special guest, and we have a special co-host. So let's bring in a former guest of the show, Josh.
Hey.
Hey.
I guess I should look like right here. You're to my right, but my camera's in front of me. So
technology, right?
If I don't look at you, it's because I'm looking at you over here. But I'm really looking at you. I swear, I promise.
That's how we do this. And of course, we do have a special guest. Ring of Honor is going down this weekend, Final Battle. And of course, we are giving away a code thanks to our friends at Fight TV. All you got to do is head on over to our Twitter, Battleground IHR, and you can check it out. But without further ado, let's bring on our special guest, Rhett Titus, my man. Everybody give it up for Rhett. How you doing, Rhett?
Hey, guys. It's great seeing you guys. It's a pleasure to be here on the Battleground podcast. Man, that Liquid Death stuff, that looks pretty tasty.
It is pretty tasty. And to be completely honest, it's just straight water. That's all it is. They've got plain water and sparkling water, and it is phenomenal stuff. So definitely have to check that out. But something that everybody's got to check out, of course, Final Battle going on this weekend. And you're actually being a part of something really cool, the first pure tag team match, correct?
Yes, the first ever Pure Rules tag team match in Ring of Honor history or in wrestling in general. Is a, pardon the pun, but it's an honor to be in the match. Ring of Honor is giving me they have the confidence in me to go out there and put out that match, the first ever of its kind. Myself and Tracy Williams will be taking on Fred Yehai and Wheeler Yuta. So those are two guys. If you're not familiar with them, or Ring of Honor fans aren't familiar with them, they're no one to be taken lightly. You may have seen them in the Pure tournament. They're two technical wrestlers, and they are both proficient in technical wrestling styles. So Tracy and I will have our work cut out for us at Final Battle, but it all goes down Friday night, December 18th. The first hour, Ring of Honor is actually giving it away for free on their social media platforms and also on Fight TV as well. So if you're on the fence, you may want to go ahead and check out the first hour for free and see if it can sway your opinion.
Yeah, and of course, you teaming up with Tracy Williams. We just had Tracy on the show not too long ago, and something really cool. I mean, Rhett, you've been with Ring of Honor for about 15 years now, and not many wrestlers get to spend, vast amount of time with one organization these days because you see everybody jumping around. But you've been there for a long time, so you're the veteran in the locker room. So, what's the dynamic relationship like between you and Ring of Honor?
I mean, if you want to be honest, I go back to February 23rd, 2002. That's the era of Honor begins. I was at that show as a fan, and wrestling at that time after ECW and WCW went out of business in 2001. It's kind of, it was like, nothing was really catching my interest. And then, I always had wanted to be a wrestler growing up, But if I didn't go to that show at the Murphy Rec Center that day, I probably would have never actually pursued it. That was like the first time that I ever saw wrestling as a sport. I was like, what is going on here? This is hard hitting. This is fast paced. This is amazing. This is what I want to do. And then a few years later, the Pure title came along, and it went away for a few years, but now it's back with Jonathan Gresham, the Pure champion. And I'm very much looking forward to being in the first ever Pure Rules tag match. We're going to make history at Final Battle, and when you go back and you look in the history books and you see the four people that were part of the first ever Pure Rules tag match, my name will be one of them. So I'm very excited about that. But I'm hoping that not only will my name be in the history books as one of the participants in the match, but also as the winner of the match as well.
Yeah. And do you kind of hope that maybe, Ring of Honor brought back the pure title? Do you think that maybe you could persuade them to bring, a Ring of Honor pure tag team title out?
Well, it's a certain possibility, but with the foundation, our goal is to collect all of the gold in Ring of Honor, and as we get, Jonathan Gresham and Jay Lethal already have the tag titles, and Gresham has the pure title, and we're looking to grab the 6-man titles, the television title, the world title, and to purify each and every one of those divisions so that they have their own distinct rules, and everybody must abide by the code of honor. So the pure tag titles wouldn't be necessary, but it is a cool idea. If it ever came about.
Yeah.
Well, I got a question for you, Rhett. A couple of names I want to bring up. Everybody, you can't mention wrestling without these two guys, Austin Aries and Daniel Bryan. I know that they helped you train at the ROH Academy. What do you remember about those days at the Academy, and how did the two differ in styles and mentorship?
Yeah, Austin Aries was my original trainer, so he taught us all the basics and all that sort of stuff, and he really looked out for us. Had a little bit more of a personal relationship with him than Bryan, because Bryan was more strictly business and more of a stricter coach and that sort of thing. But I'll never forget the first day of training. Austin Aries was like. Who wants to learn pile drivers? I was like,
Everybody raise their hand.
Everyone raise their hand, right?
Yeah. So he's like, all right, come over here. I'll give you a pile driver. I was like, oh, okay. I'm going to take my first pile driver. Hope I don't break my neck. And so he puts me between his legs, and he just lifts his leg up, and he just rips ass right on top of my head. And I was like looking like, what? And he's like, me in the back of the head. He's like, "What are you, stupid? You really think you're gonna learn a pile driver on the first day of training?" I was like, "Oh, I guess you got a point." And he's like, "Oh, no, really? You want to learn how to take a pile driver?" I was like, "Yeah, I do." And he's like, "All right, come over here." And he put me between his legs, and then he ripped ass on me again.
Oh. and you being young and ready and hungry to wrestle, you just didn't think he was going to do it again.
Yeah, so I didn't even know he had that much gas built up in him, But, yeah, Bryan. So it was a little lighthearted with Aries. We'd have some fun. Bryan was a little bit stricter. I remember I would always be coming from work going to train with Bryan, and Bryan's class was a little bit more advanced. So we learned different techniques and different holds and stuff like that. But I would always be coming from work, and of course I'd always be running late from work, and whenever I was late, I'd always have to do extra squats, extra push-ups, extra running the ropes, and extra of everything. That was always my punishment. So I remember one day I was making it on time. I was like, cool, I'm gonna be on time, no extra stuff. Because I wasn't in the shape that I am now, so like all those extra calisthenics would piss me off, So all of a sudden I hit traffic. And I'm like, oh no, like I'm gonna be late. So like as I'm in traffic, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna get dressed in my gear now, so that when I get there, I can go right to the ring, and I don't have to get dressed, because even if you were there and you weren't dressed, you'd still be late, So you'd have to be like there, dressed in the ring, ready to go at 4:00, and if not, you would be doing extra stuff. So, so I put all my gear on like while I'm sitting in traffic, and I made it to the school at like 3:58. I'm running up the stairs and slide right into the ring. And Bryan's like, "Oh wow, you made it on time today. Good for you." I was like, "Oh yeah, but, you know." And then we're starting warming up, and Bryan starts looking down at the ground, and he's like, "Who the hell dragged mud into my ring?" And I was like, "Oh no!" And everyone's looking at the bottom of their boots, And of course, I'm the last person to look at the bottom of mine, and there's mud on the bottom of my boots from running from my car into the building.
Oh,
So, needless to say, I had to do extra push-ups, extra run the ropes, extra everything that day anyway. So I would have been just better off being late at that point.
we've all been there. You kind of run in. It's like us in radio. You hope that you're able to hit that break the first time you go in there and crack the mic. You might hear your headphones flopping around and you grabbing the microphone, but yeah, we've all been there on that kind of situation.
Yeah,
So,
sorry, it happens.
You are coming from the New Jersey area. Of course, a lot of great wrestlers coming out of there. What were some of your influences growing up in wrestling?
So like I would always be always like whatever wrestling I could see or get my hands on or anything like that. I always be like, oh yeah, like whatever. If there was wrestling was coming to town or whatever. I remember I went to like a video store, because these kids these days they go on YouTube or wherever they're at, and they have all this wrestling right at their fingertips. It wasn't like that growing up. You'd have to go to the store, videos and stuff like that. So I was renting a video, and I behind the club, you like wrestling? And I was like, yeah, I like wrestling. And he's like, well, there's a wrestling show going on at the high school over here on this night, and there's actually a Doink lookalike contest. And I was like, a Doink lookalike contest? Like, I gotta win it. And I thought that this would be like a big break into something like, keep in mind I was 6 years old at the time too. So, but I'm like, Mom, you gotta make me a costume. I gotta look like Doink. I gotta win this. My big break. Blah blah blah. So, my mom made, God bless her, she made me the greatest Doink costume one could imagine. It looked just like the Doink costume, and she made it with a hot glue gun. She like did my makeup perfect, and I get there, I'm like, oh boy, where's all the other Doinks? Where's all the other Doinks? And they're just like dressed as like regular clowns. Like one had like pink hair or blue hair or whatever. Like no one even really looked like Doink, and they brought all the Doinks into the ring, and Doink lifted me up on his shoulder as the winner, and I was like, oh man, this is awesome. Like I'm the new Dink, this is my thing. Like, and then Doink just went on to the next town and left me sitting in the front row, like, wait, don't come back. But so I was always going to indie shows. Also at 6, I went to my first ever ECW show, so that really like changed my mind on how I looked at wrestling. I was like, wow, like this guy Sabu, he's awesome. And by the time Steve Carino came to ECW, he was my favorite. I loved him just because he was different than anything else going on there. And after ECW, I would always be following wherever Steve Carino was around Jersey, so he was like a big influence for me. And I'd always be like messaging him on AOL Instant Messenger, like, hey, how are you doing today? And, like, poor guy I must have drove him crazy, but yeah. And then Steve Carino being on the first Ring of Honor show was actually what made me go to the first Ring of Honor show at the Murphy Record back in 2002. And that show, if it wasn't for that show, I probably would have never got into wrestling.
All right. Well, you're in it, and let's just say you could wrestle anybody you wanted to, right? ROH says, Rhett, we're going to let you pick any opponent from any era in any kind of match you want. Who is it, and what would it be?
Whew, man,
I know it's tough. I know it's a tough. I know it's tough. I know it is.
I'm on a really big like Mid-Atlantic kick lately, so I probably Jackriscoe, like
wow.
Rhett Titus was Jackriscoe, NWA title,
Yeah,
like
man.
smacking. Yeah, I don't want to wrestle him in like 2020. I want to wrestle him in 1980s.
70s and 80s.
Yeah.
Back when like K-fob and everything was real and you couldn't break it, and the good times.
So, yeah, that would be cool for sure.
Any type of match in particular, or just a straight up wrestling match?
Straight wrestling, just hold for hold, catch as can, So, Jack Briscoe, big fan of his. Gerald Briscoe too, So, but Jack had that long NWA title run.
And Rhett wants to end that long NWA title run. We'll put Rhett in the DeLorean and we'll go back in the future and we'll go back in time and we'll just do this. You describe yourself as a tag team specialist. Of course, you and Tracy are teaming up this weekend, and you had the stint with ANX and Rebellion and the Dogs. How does things differ now compared to then? Because I know there was the incident with you and Kenny King or a tag team, and he completely walked out on you when you were the champions. So how are things different, and how are they the same, if they were now?
Well, you kind of hit the nail on the head when you said a tag team specialist. So, no matter who the partner was, I would always be able to have chemistry with them just because of my experience as a tag team wrestler. Whether it be Kenny King, Caprice Coleman, Shane Taylor, Cliff Compton, BJ Whitmer, Will Ferrara. Going into Final Battle, Tracy Williams will actually be my fourth different tag team partner at Final Battle. So I don't know if anybody else can say that, but what's different now is Tracy Williams has a lot of the same thoughts that I do. He is on the same path that I am. Whereas, when I was teaming with, someone like Kenny King, a lot of the times Kenny King didn't have the team's best interests at first. It was always about, well, what about Kenny? What about Kenny? So he always had to put himself first. Obviously he did that when we won the Ring of Honor tag titles, and then he showed up on TNA a few weeks later. But me and Tracy Williams, we're teaming at Final this upcoming weekend, and we both have the same mindset. We're here to show people how tag team wrestling is supposed to be done. There's going to be, all hand-to-hand tags. We'll be holding the tag rope with both feet on the apron. There will be 3 rope breaks. If you break up a pin or submission, it counts as a rope, and no closed fists. If you do use a closed fist, you get 1 warning. If you use 2, you get disqualification. There will be no outside interference, and if somebody does interfere, they get terminated from Ring of Honor. And it's pretty cool because I watched tag team wrestling in 2020, and I'm just sitting there like, oh my gosh, like what?
It's sometimes just complete chaos in the ring. And
there's no rules, and
yeah,
what's the point of having rules in place, if you're not going to follow them? So it's going to be a throwback to tag team matches of yesteryear where the rules actually meant something, and hopefully, going forward into 2021, people will watch this match and be like, damn, like, this makes sense. Like, this is how tag team wrestling is supposed to be. It's supposed to be different than, any other style of wrestling. And hopefully that catches on and people follow it and, abide by it.
Right. That's a good seg. Yeah. Go ahead, Matt. No, it's all you.
So I kind of want to just go back a little bit. We talk about throwback and we talk about Kenny King, and you've been very vocal in the past in interviews about Kenny King. Like, what went through your mind when you found out Kenny literally walked out on you and just left you high and dry? And you said he was all about himself. So,
what the hell, Kenny? We worked hard for this for long, and now you're just gonna up and leave because another opportunity came along. I was very disappointed, and I kind of was like, oh, they'll figure something out, and then all of a sudden I went online and I saw that we were stripped of the tag team titles. Then I was like really pissed because I didn't do anything wrong, Ken, was the one who went to TNA and all that. So, and then I got punished for it, and I got forced to team with Charlie Haas in the tag team title tournament, and we went to the finals, but we didn't win the titles back, and that's something that that's always kind of haunted me, and that's something that it's definitely on my bucket list of things to do and to rectify that situation and get Ring of Honor gold once again.
So we're right around the corner from 2021, Rhett. I'm looking at my calendar here. Literally 17 days till we flip that calendar over to the new year. I know you mentioned the tag team wrestling going into 2021. Hopefully everyone will get a good look at it and finally see some decent tag team wrestling the way it was supposed to be watched. But what else does 2021 hold in store for you? Obviously 2020, completely a year that none of us expected it to be. Hopefully we're looking at the beginning of next year. It could be the best year ever compared to what we had this year. What do you have planned for 2021?
In 2021 can't be any worse than this year, right? But
right.
Being aligned with the foundation now, we all have similar goals and a similar mindset, and it is to capture all the gold in Ring of Honor and purify each and every division and bring Ring of Honor back to the golden days where the people actually respected the code of honor, and the company was built on honor, respect, and dignity, and there was no outside interference, and everybody shook hands, and people looked at us as athletes. You look around wrestling and you see a gif or a video of people doing some stupid stunt or joke or something like that, that go away in 2021. We're trying to bring the pure wrestling back. We're trying to bring back athletes and have people look at us as serious athletes instead of guys doing funny spots and stuff like that. Like I watch a lot of wrestling these days, and I shake my head, and it is a goal to show people how wrestling is supposed to be done and make people take notice and be like, you know what, all this stupid stuff that people doing for the past few years, like this is like bull crap, this isn't. We didn't get in wrestling to be a joke and make a mockery of wrestling. We got into wrestling to, be taken seriously and, leave a legacy behind us. And, 2021, hopefully we start really pushing forward towards that. And hopefully I get some championship gold back around my waist in 2021, because it's something that has eluded me for the past few years. And to be honest, it's kind of haunted me a little bit. So, hopefully that we'll get that going in 2021.
Nothing wrong with some extra hardware for the new year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, Final Battle is going Friday night. And of course, our friends at Fight TV have hooked us up with a code that you could watch. And of course, Rhett earlier said that Ring of Honor is putting that first hour out for free that you could watch. And then if you're like, I'm on the fence and you see that first hour, you're going to want to buy it. But thanks to our friends at Fight, we're going to hook you up with a code to watch the entire show for free. All you have to do is head on over to our Twitter account. It is Battleground IHR. So Rhett, I do have a quick question, because the thing that we love about Ring of Honor, and we've had several people on, we've had PCO, we've had Tracy, we've had drawn some blanks because we've had a lot of people on. And the thing that I love about Ring of Honor is the fact that they still kept everybody employed. They still paid everybody, and nobody got laid off or furloughed during this whole pandemic. So that's got to say something. I mean, that kind of keeps you there, correct?
Yeah. You want to go back to March 12th. We all flew into Vegas for a pay-per-view and a TV taping. And that was the day where, the president made a big speech about, the coronavirus and COVID-19 and that sort of thing. And it was really apparent that this wasn't, something to be taken lightly. And Ring of Honor had already paid for the pay-per-view time and all the production trucks and everybody was there already, and they thought it was in the fans and their staff and the wrestlers and the crew, everyone's best interest to cancel that weekend shows. And I respect Ring of Honor for that. And not only did they, not make us wrestle at that TV taping review, but, they didn't have us wrestle again until they found a way to be able to do it safely where, everybody was going to be taken care of, and that when they knew more about the virus and how it, spread and how things work, because we're learning new stuff about it every day, and Ring of Honor really took its time to put the pause button on and do it the right way, and they created this bubble environment for us where unfortunately there's no fans there, but we get tested prior to going to the tapings, we get tested at the tapings, we wear masks the whole time. The canvases are changed after each and every match. The ropes are sprayed down. The turnbuckles are sprayed down. The guardrails, the pads on the floor, thing, they really spared no expense in making sure that our safety was taken care of. And throughout the whole time trying to figure us out, everybody was getting paid still. So, and you didn't have to worry about, how am I going to pay this month's rent, or how am I going to pay my car off?
Right.
It was very, very appreciative of that, especially having, two kids and that sort of thing, and married. So, it's very, very appreciative, and I'm very thankful for it. And, you know, the cost to do the bubble and how Ring of Honor operates now is about 5 times the amount of a regular TV taping where they,
Wow.
what they're used to. So it they really, like I said, they're sparing no expense to make sure that we're all safe.
That's great that they're taking care of you. Really, really great. And it's good to hear that you didn't have to worry about your rent or your mortgage or your car. And that's a good feeling to know as we go along here. Rhett, thanks for joining us today on the Battleground podcast. Can you let everyone know where we can find you out on social media?
Yeah. So on Twitter and Instagram, you can follow me at Rhett Titus ANX. That's RHETTTITUS ANX. Facebook.com/Rhett Titus. YouTube.com/Rhett Titus. I'm on TikTok as Rhett Titus as well. ProWrestlingTees.com/Rhett Titus ANX. And you can also head over to ROHWrestling.com, the pro shop over there. I got a new that just recently, so go ahead and grab yourself one of those. Thank you guys for having me here. It's a pleasure being on the Battleground podcast, guys.
Well, it is an honor to have you on the show, Rhett. Friday night final battle again going down. You and Tracy Williams going on as a tag team, which we have said on this show, and we are good luck charms, with the exception of Tracy because he didn't get to beat Jonathan Gresham for the title. But most of the people that have come on this show have all gone on to win gold. So you are in good hands with us, and everybody that has been on this show has gone on to win gold. So we are putting that out there in the universe that Rhett Titus will have gold or silver if you have the ROH Pure title around your waist. So, Rhett, thank you so much, and looking forward to Friday night.
Thank you guys for the great mojo.
Yeah, that's what we do here on the show. We put out the mojo. But once again, Rhett, thank you so much for joining the show, and we're looking forward to Friday night.
Hell yeah, everyone tune in. The first hour is free, so try it out. And I assure you that it's going to be better than any other pay-per-view you have watched all year, any other wrestling that you may have seen on TV. This Friday night, December 18th, Ring of Honor Final Battle live on pay-per-view.